Welcome back to the 2020 CNPS Yerba Buena Native Garden Tour. It is my distinct pleasure to welcome Millie Calzado, beaming live from beautiful Mount Sutro. Millie developed a passion for native plants, environmental justice, and community-based habitat restoration while working in Seattle. Millie moved to the Bay Area in 2017 with stints at the Marin Headlands Nursery, Presidio, and Fort Funston Native Plant Nurseries. Millie is now Nursery Program Manager at Sutro Stewards Nursery in San Francisco. Welcome, Millie.
So I'm here at Sutro Native Plant Nursery. I'm the Native Plant Nursery Manager here with Sutro Stewards. We're a community-based nonprofit here on Mount Sutro. We've been in operation for over 10 years now, working to steward Mount Sutro's native habitats and expand them. And we also work to expand the hiking trails here. So I'm gonna show you all a bit about our garden here, which you can see is right next to the nursery space, which is right over there, and I'm standing in our garden. It's 2 terraces, and it's been around since 2013. So I'm gonna flip the camera around just to show you all some of my favorite plants in here.
Right now, I don't know if you can hear me. It's skipping a little bit, but we're getting 90% of what you're saying.
Okay, great. Yeah, just let me know if there's anything you'd like me to repeat. But I'll start with our first plant here, which is in our garden, blue-headed gilia or Gilia capitata. This is a dune species. Usually you find it in sandy areas, but we have it actually here in our soil, which is amended with compost and a bunch of other different things. It was seeded last winter, so this past winter. Normally, if you're gonna start wildflowers from seed in your garden, you want to, or at least native wildflowers, you want to start them in the winter time, and then they'll pop up the next spring. So I don't know if you all can see there's a little bumblebee jumping around in there pollinating it.
Oh yeah, I can see it.
Cool. Right, so I'm going to turn the camera around and give you all a shot of our native iris, Iris douglasii, or Douglas iris. This one's really prolific in our garden. I don't know if you all can see how it's just divided amongst itself and taken over. It's cascading over the terrace here and into the bed beneath it.
It's like the perfect spot for it there. It's loving it.
Yeah.
Doesn't do near so well in my garden.
Yeah, it's a really sunny spot that we have, fortunately, in this area of Mount Sutro. It's a bit opened. This area used to be a military base back in the day, and then they had a structure here that was a military building, and they demolished it, and then many years later they decided to build the Sutro Nursery here. So that's what we're using it for now. It's a bit about the history. So I'll walk over one of our other species here. This is bee plant, or Scrophularia californica. The little tiny pink flowers that are a bit hard to focus on, but it's another great native. And right behind it, we have the checker mallow, or Sodalcium albiflora. These are awesome. They're in full bloom right now, and once they get established in an area, they really take off. They'll bloom all the way from May into July. You can see each spikelet gets like 10 or 15 different flower heads on it. Okay.
So are you planting a lot of these plants out onto the mountain?
We are. All of these plants actually are incorporated into our habitat restoration sites here on Mount Sutro. We manage 3 different sites, 3 different major sites, and then within those sites we're trying to create some connectivity and connect them all eventually. But we have restoration sites on the summit, probably, that's the most visible area right now. All the poppies are in bloom up there, so if you have a chance to get out to Mount Sutro and check out the summit, definitely recommend it right now. They have quite a few wildflowers in bloom. All right, so this is one of our native Phacelias, Phacelia californica. This one is, if you're looking for a good one for your garden, that's a great pollinator species. The bees absolutely love it. I've seen quite a few hummingbirds in here as well over this past spring. I don't know if you all can hear, you probably can't hear the bees actually buzzing in there right now, but
No, but we hear birds.
yeah, the birds are chirping, bees are buzzing. It's a beautiful time of year out here.
Nice.
Right, so I'll walk over. This is, again, our nursery space here to my right, where we have all of our native plants, and we actually have an online store now that's up and running for folks that are finding some hyper-local San Francisco native plants. All right, so we have the seaside daisy, or Ridgeron glaucus is this one. This is another dune species. So great for outer Sunset, outer Richmond, those areas where the sand is, the soil is more sandy.
Yeah, they do really well on the bay side too.
Yeah, they're really an awesome aster, very prolific, and again, loved by pollinators. And you can see all the buds starting to come up, so they get quite a few flowers on them once they get established. And down here, I'll point out really quick, this is our native bindweed, Calistigia purpurata, or Pacific false bindweed with the bell-shaped flower on it. There are a few different non-natives of this type, or similar in the morning glory family. But this one is our native, and it dies back every year, but it'll keep coming back.
So do you just cut it back, or at the end of the year, or do you just let it go?
Yeah, you can cut back the dead, dying material every year, and then it'll just put out new vines every year. And yeah,
that's probably better than just letting it stay dead-headed then.
Yes, yeah. So there's, everybody probably knows this one, our state flower, the California poppy, the Schultzia californica. This is the orange that everybody knows, the classic orange, but there's also a yellow type that is a subspecies, Schultzia californica maritima, subspecies maritima. It's more rare that I've seen in the Presidio and Land's End, in a few different spots closer to the water. So I'm gonna walk over to one of our native salvias, hummingbird sage.
Nice.
This one's really special. It spreads rhizominously, so if you can get it to establish in your garden, it makes for an awesome ground cover. It's our only native salvia that has a red flower on it. And like its name indicates, hummingbird sage, it's loved by hummingbirds. You can see it's got that bell-shaped, that tube. Yeah, the hummingbird sage, Salvia spathulata. The name salvia, it's Latin and it means to save. So a lot of plants in this family have a lot of medicinal uses. So you can actually take the leaves on this one and let them dry out, and then chop up the leaves and make a tea. Or I've made shortbread with the leaves as well, and you just take the leaf and cut it up and put it into a shortbread recipe. It's a pretty cool use for it. So some of our native dandelion. Right.
Nice.
We have wild cucumber here, Mara fabaceae. The fruit, this one looks like it's burst already, but the fruit is these giant balls with spikes on them, and it gets 4 seeds per chamber. And this is another one you can cut back once it starts to die, and then it'll just pop back up every year.
Go to their website and find out about this new plant buying program. It's really difficult to buy native plants anytime you want. We have slope gardens in the city, and we had bay natives, and we've never had a specialty native garden in the sort of near the west side. So this is a great opportunity for everyone to pick up some native plants that grow right on Sutro.